This is the new 2012 Mercedes SL 500. It's an icon because for over half a century it has defined its own market segment. Everything else is and was an SL rival, whereas the SL, well, it's always just the SL. So perhaps the best way to understand the new SL is to trace its heritage. So when you're considering the origins of the Mercedes SL and this Leggera lightweight theme that runs through it, it's actually quite hard not to think about the origins of the word supercar, because I'm sitting in a car now, W113 from 1957, that has a claimed top speed of a thick end of 150 miles an hour from 225 horsepower. To me, that sounds like pretty rampant performance for the day. I mean, what must this car have looked like to people in 1957? It still looks pretty futuristic now. They must have just thought it was the Millennium Bloody Falcon. It's an amazing car, really amazing car. And you know what? Even though it created a dynasty of ruthless Mercedes-Benzes, it's a much more specialised car than anything we have now with an SL badge on it. Not to say they aren't special cars now, they are, but they are much more rounded and much more usable. This is just wonderful. Here we are, roof down in Spain. I'm loving it. It doesn't have much grip. Steering wriggles around through this massive Bakelite rim steering wheel. The gearbox is just lovely and precise. It just clicks into place. It's an absolute joy. Now, I have no idea what this car is worth, other than the fact that it's a big sum of money, but it's worth every penny. The dials are beautiful, the chrome, the metal, the leather. And that's before we've even discussed the noise. Third gear. Like a DB5 having its bits fondled. It's just magnificent. In fact, the whole car's completely glorious and I'm in love. So what we have here is a W113 Mercedes 230 SL from 1968. To you and I, it's known as the Pagoda. Now, I've never driven one of these things before, so I'm actually pretty excited. I love Mercedes SLs, and I've always looked at this from a distance as a really, really elegant, beautiful piece of design. Sitting in it now, it's a high quality item. These really were premium products back in the day. They were furiously, fearsomely expensive cars. You can see why. Everything is either lovely wood, painted metal, or chrome, or actually leather. So it's expensive. I'm wearing no seatbelt. I'm sitting upright, quite close to the screen, and it's impossible to avoid or resist the inclination to just hang an elbow off the door and cruise around. To me, it doesn't feel like a scratching sports car. Compared to a 1968 Porsche 911, this feels much more the cruiser. 2.3 litre straight six engine, lovely throttle response, and do you know what? This great big steering wheel actually gives you very little steering feel. So everyone that goes on about steering feel being lost by modern cars is in fact talking codswallop. I suppose this car also imbues in me a sense of not wanting to go too fast. Yes, it's a performance car if I want to go quickly. This little 2.3 litre six-cylinder engine is lovely. Listen to the noise. Here we go, I'll give you some noise. Delicious sound. And it's amazing how sharp the response is. But the SL is a car that doesn't want to be hurried, doesn't want to be hustled. And this is quite a light car, 1,295 kilograms, and with that 150 horsepower, sweet little inline six, 2.3 litres, remember, it's honey. Very responsive, mechanical fuel injection. It's a lovely little driver's package. Compared to an equivalent 911 of the era, not as much of a sports car, but probably with a much broader appeal. It can scratch and go quite quickly if you want it to, but really it's about just sitting back, having a good time and enjoying this gear change, which is a little Swiss watch in its operations. It's a short throw and you feel the cogs meshing together. I love this car. It's really gorgeous. So in 1971, the cute little Pagoda W113 gave way to what Mercedes internally called the R107. Of course, to you and me, it's the Bobby Ewing. I don't know about you, but to me, this is the definitive Mercedes SL shape. This car was built for 18 years. That's the longest any Mercedes was ever built. They didn't stop making it until 1988, and the basic shape and styling stayed the same. Even today, it looks fresh. It's an absolute design classic. Now, the funny thing is, I've only driven one of these before, and it was a 500 SL automatic. That's the classic LA spec, isn't it? The great big bruiser of a car, you just stuck it in D. It went pretty fast, it was a bit wallowy. It wasn't a sports car in the conventional sense, but it was a lovely way of getting around. Today, rubbed my hands, they've said, have a go in a R107, and presented me with a red manual 300 SL, and I just thought, oh no, this is just rubbish. However, this is a bit of a revelation, this car. I'm loving it. 188 horsepower from a 3-litre straight six, 1,510 kilograms without the hard top on it. It's not that quick, the gearing's a bit too long, but it makes this lovely straight six noise. It's a great place to be. You've got the heavily sprung seat, this enormous steering wheel. I mean, it really does steer with all the precision of a great big yacht. But other than that, I think it's a lovely, lovely car. And so this is where all that knowledge and experience culminates. The new R231 Mercedes SL class. First impressions. Well, it's bigger, physically bigger, longer, but it's lighter. The car now has a twin-turbo V8. This car has 435 horsepower, 516 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 1,785 kilograms. Do some maths and you have a car that, despite not being a dedicated AMG performance model, has nearly the same power-to-weight ratio as a 2001 SL55. It's a really, really fast car. It absolutely shags it along. Now that's kind of a good thing, but also a slightly awkward thing as well. First of all, you have a level of effortless performance that was just missing in the predecessor car. You stroke this thing along in drive, leave the gearbox in its economy setting with the stop-start engage and everything, and it's really, really fast. But it does mean that the temptation is there to go really quite quickly. And then this new SL, well, it presents you with a couple of problems. First of all, the steering is very light, it's electric, and at low speed, that's great. But at higher speed, you do feel slightly detached from the experience. It's a shame because the rest of the chassis is so flipping competent. The ride comfort is extraordinary. You feel the strength and integrity of the structure of the car and that air suspension. I don't bother with the sport mode, leave it in comfort, and you have got the consummate cruiser. The steering column is rock solid. It doesn't feel like it's a convertible at all. We have the lovely 7-speed wet clutch transmission that AMG calls Speed Shift. It worked brilliantly with this gearbox to give you a sort of quasi-AMG experience. The noise is sensational. Yeah, it's a really, really fast car. It's a car that you want to drive fast, but when you get there, it just feels, for me, a little bit detached. I mean, is that a criticism that I should be levelling at an SL500? Because, come on, people don't use this car to go and scratch around racetracks, do they? They use it to be able to just cruise wherever they want to. Drive 1,000 miles, roof up, roof down, in utter comfort. And this car, in that role, is still the best on sale. It's remarkable. In here, we're not really too worried about any buffeting from the air outside. It feels cocooned. With the roof up, it's as quiet as a normal coupe. I've got wind or air scarves to warm the back of my neck. I've got heated seats. I've got this cabin, which to me is an unqualified success. So let's talk about the styling then, because if I think the inside is an unqualified success, personally, I'm not so sure about the outside. I don't think it's a munter, but equally, it's not a car that makes me think, oh God, I've got to have one of those, like say the new Boxster. So it's a bit tippy-toe on 18-inch wheels as well, so I do think it could look a little bit more, for want of a better word, horny. Now, if I've been a little bit less than blown away by this car when you really try and get up it, let's put things in perspective. We know already that there's an SL63 coming, and that car will fulfill that role. I suppose actually, if I flip it on its head, I was just surprised at how fast this car was, and that by the time I'd sort of got up it and started going, that the amount of just straight line performance perhaps not overcame the chassis, but I found it surprising. No, all in all, pretty fine motor car.